Can you dig it? Hello, everybody.
Some vibrato there,
I
Joe.
can dig that.
Well, you
Jesus.
guys are
Hello.
talking about musical theatre earlier, and I was like, well, hey,
Wow.
I'm going to give that a little bash and see how we go on. Just realised I've got nothing going on there, so I'm going to pop that on right there. Okay, hello to everybody here today. Thank you for joining us. I'm really glad that you're here on this beautiful sunny day. I'm super excited about today because I get to play a really, really fucking evil, horrible character today, and you know me, I really enjoy a little bit of evil, horrible characters. Very much enjoy it. So I hope that we're okay. I know that we actually we're not late. No, we're bang on time.
No, we're bang on time, yeah.
That is really good.
Yeah, it's just force a habit to apologise the moment we get on.
Oh my word! I just want to apologise to everybody already because my computer has already started screaming at me.
Yay!
Yeah.
Exactly. We did not expect that to happen. So what I might actually do is just come off, and we're going to be back in just a few seconds' time. All right.
We're gonna
see
be
you guys in a
late.
sec.
Yeah.
Hey
Friends-
yo. Okay. So we're no. Oh, is it? Is it going to stay? Oh my word! I'm terrified.
How's it
Oh,
going?
no. Don't make noises because we need to know if people can hear us.
Don't make noises.
So going, it's like, are we okay? I don't know. I'm just
Are we
hoping.
here? Daz
Are
is
we
saying
here?
hola.
Oh my god, I just don't understand what's going on.
Fizzlekins is on it.
I
Yeah,
can hear
they
you, they're
back.
back. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, but we have still got to bring Evie into this, and I am very, very terrified. I don't know what technical problems I've got today, but I seem to be having a lot of them, and we'll just gonna crack on, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, be fine.
It'll be fine. All right. So the good news is that we had to waste time anyway today because Evie is late. So this kind of like I just burnt up 17 minutes of time. So that's actually quite a good thing. It's on purpose. This is all on purpose. This is hype, guys. This is what hype looks like.
Hope.
Okay. So, God.
How are you doing, Joe?
I think I've just lost like many pounds in weight by just sweating in the last 17 minutes.
Lovely. And what about the rest of your week? How's it been?
Yeah, all right. I mean, it's a good thing is I've been I'm not working at all, which is great. Which has made me feel like I actually needed it after the last 4 weeks, which has been good. Let's put a bit of music on as well. Let's see if that kills it. Shut the camel's back and everything.
Life close to the sun, Icarus.
But good, yeah. I've been kind of doing lots and lots of different creations and different things I've been putting together, which has been fun. I've been trying to kind of put together just kind of cracking forward for actually. Who's that? Oh, it's Mama Thorpe. Thanks, Mama Thorpe, for the resub. Big love. And thanks for coming back. I know you're my mum and you have to come back because you're my mum. I still appreciate you for that, so thank you so much. But yeah, it's been very good. I'm trying to think about actually what actually have I done. Oh, I tell you what has happened. My honeysuckle was flowered, and my jasmine has flowered. So the whole house, my whole garden is smelling absolutely gorgeous at the moment. I'm so happy. So that's been really nice. And I had our first strawberries. The first strawberries that come through.
Wow.
Mm.
Very nice.
So very, very, very happy. Went to one of my favorite cocktail bars yesterday with Nat 20. So that was lovely. Had many old fashions, maybe too many old fashions.
Good on you.
It was really, really lovely, and it was good to kind of get out and have a date with Nat 20. She's always the best. It's like, goddamn love her. She's amazing. But yeah, so that's been good. I've also been kind of getting a little bit excited about kind of new announcements from Wizards of the Coast as well about the new modules that are coming out. So more on that, I think, as we go through the next month or so. But definitely that does look like it's going to be quite a cool one. I think they're doing something in the Feywild and then something over in the crossover as well, which will be quite good to see. Hopefully see what it sort of comes up with, because I think they're doing some more. They did the Ravenclaw, not Ravenclaw.
Ravenloft.
No, not that one. The other one. Ravencut, which is like a part of their Magic the Gathering crossover.
Okay.
So I think they've got another one of those in the pipe. So well, I think we're going to see what they're like, and maybe we'll see if we can pick up some early editions and chat about them or something like that. That'd be quite fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll see what you can do. Bonus.
I think we have solved the problem as what the issue was with the computer. Mama Thorpe. The reason Mama Thorpe was late is because they also had problems with their computer as well. So you guys are just so in sync that just all Thorpe computers went down at the same time, and now they're back.
Oh yeah, I have to close my windows. I live near a hospital, you see, and of course there's lots going on at the moment, so it's sort of best to keep the windows closed. Good. So, but how are you then, Dan? As you would want to ask me. So, how are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling really relaxed because I got needed a sourdough starter. I was saying to you before we got on by my physio. I had a lovely time getting all sorts of clicked and crunched and cupped, and then we started the session. And it was really, really nice. I've got these. They're not there yet, but tomorrow I'm gonna wake up. On my calves I'm gonna have these perfect little red circles from the cupping thing. I think I had about 15 of them on me at one point. It's the weirdest sensation. Anyone ever had cupping done?
No.
It's mad. It's just a little. It's like the stuff that you used to do as a kid with suction. Did you ever do this where you'd get a glass and just suck all the air out so your lips would get really big?
Oh yeah.
That's basically what it is. It's just a little glass thing with a little pump that pumps the air out, and so then it just holds onto your body.
Gotcha.
And then you kind of forget about it, and then they just pull it off. You're like, oh god. But then the next day you end up with these perfect red circles where they've brought all the impurities and all the blood and everything to the surface. It's like getting perfectly spherical hickeys and paying £56 a session for it.
Oh God! Do you remember hickeys? Thank Christ, we no longer have to deal with hickeys anymore.
Well, some people might.
Well, thank Christ, I no longer have to deal with hickeys anymore. Jesus, I remember as a teenager. Now, it didn't happen frequently because I was hideously unattractive to everyone when I was a child. But the occasional moments where I would get a hickey, my mum would fucking letter me. She hated them. Robert, a vampire has got you, is it? Awful.
And how she didn't know that in the future you may become a vampire in a fantasy world setting, and you could turn around and go, yes, I am.
Yes, I am, Mum.
Yes, you are, Mum. Yes,
does that mean you technically gave Datsit a hickey, bring him back to life? Sweet prince.
Yeah, I never kind of understood them really. I think it was one of those things of just going ow, owie,
Yeah. People wore them as a badge of honor as well.
Oh yeah, me and the other girls at school who didn't have boyfriends at 14, which actually is now totally normal. But at the time I was I don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or anyone, which is thank God. Anyway, we all used to do them to each other, but we do them on the top of our breasts. It was no one's going to see that. Now you're not in school with your shirt undone like Britney Spears, and hit me baby one more time. So why we did that to each other, I don't know. Anyway, then my mum saw them what on earth is going on at that high school you go to? It's no, it's not like that.
It's not like
it's
that.
Practice hickeys.
Yeah. Just me and my girly mates trying some things. It's fine. It's all right. Don't worry. It's not boys. It's not vampires. You don't have nothing to worry about.
My word. Ooh. This has been a saucy start to this particular episode.
I know, teenage boys just punch each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's saucy.
Or light up a lighter really hard.
Smileys.
Really hard, and then either do smileys, or what they did in my college is they would do it with a Zippo, and then they chuck it to someone.
Oh yeah.
So you'd so you'd sort of naturally go.
Do you used to flick solder at each other as well?
No.
Yeah.
No. What is it with solder? I got stabbed with a soldering iron as a kid, and I've been terrified of any kind of heat, in the webbing of my fingers by some psycho kid.
What's solder?
Like if
like
electronics and stuff, like the stuff that connects wires together. So you heat it up on a soldering iron and you make a big pool of it. And you sort of scoop and flick, and you just like flick it onto people's trousers, and it like kind of burns through the trouser.
Mate, boys are mean to each other. Well, girls, it's like psychological warfare, isn't it? Whereas boys, it's flicking solder at each other.
So if anybody on the chat, if you used to do stuff that used to really hurt each other, there was one thing we used to do, which was get you make like a paper aeroplane or back of a dart, and then you stick like
stick a pin through
it, and then just like fuck at each other.
Chuck it at people.
Yeah, chuck it at each other. Like it's terrified.
I always enjoyed a good bagging. Do you ever get bagged? Where they turn your bag inside out? School bag? Put everything in it, but your bag will be inside out. And your bag would just be left somewhere in the school. You'd be like, you got bags. And you'd be like, I just want to find where my things are. And they're like, well, you have to find it, you prick. Yeah, oh, God.
Oh, God.
Yeah, come here, I'll give you a hickey. Oh, Seamus, please.
That's so tame by comparison.
I know.
Yes.
That's one
also
of the
absolutely not what I thought you were going to say by bagging.
bags. Oh yeah, when they used to, throw me into a bag and throw it off a bridge. Anyone else? No?
Bagged and
Oh
tagged.
my God.
Yeah. No? Just me.
Oh my God. So they used to, Dad said they used to burn an empty biro in science and then make sculptures with the plastic. Oh, that's nice.
See, that's quite artistic. What you're
Very
not doing is you're
artistic,
not setting fire to essentially a shiv implement and stabbing at someone with it.
Yeah,
I'm not
It's
traumatized.
artistic in a
also-
different way, Dan.
yeah, but also you could just use a compass. That's got a little stabby thing in anyway. That's what we used to do. Or sharpen a pencil.
Shove it
Ooh,
pencil.
pencils.
Ooh.
Lead
Pencil
poison.
to the back of the leg. Ooh.
Oh, not good. The thing we used to do is
Nice.
throw pencils up into the ceilings. But then we wait to see when you come back to another class to see if it's still there, because if it isn't, it's probably landed on someone's head, and that would have been really funny
Right.
for somebody else. Do you know what I mean?
So
Oh, school,
the most puerile thing I saw in school, which still makes me laugh to this day, is I think it was in a geography textbook, and there was a picture of a camel, and it was all about like how like species change depending on their climate and evolution and everything, and the caption just said how the camel has adapted to live in hotter climates, and someone drew a dick. I was like, someone just gave it a massive dick. I was like, that's how it's it's responded.
Mhm.
That is nature at its best.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my God.
think Bevan's just kind of reminded me about the BCG vaccination and then like
Uh,
punching each other in the arm.
Yeah, people have still got really bad scars from that.
I remember.
They made it like serious in our school. Like they were like, you get suspended if you punch someone's BCG, because it was happening so much, and it's really dangerous as well. Like it's really bad for you. If you pop that shit, it goes back into you.
Fucking crazy stuff. Hang on, what else we have? We used to. Oh my God! You used to like take glue sticks. Hang on. So you used to do the pencil thing, Daz, with glue sticks.
Throw glue sticks into the ceiling, wait for
Yeah.
them to drop into girls' hair.
Really nice. That's just like
Nice.
so much fun at school. School is the worst. I hate it.
Oh,
Like, it's the fucking
We
worst.
missed a trick in Casalantas, man. There's some real stuff that we could have got up to. We were too busy, getting traumatized and attacked by demons. But it was like we could have had some fun with some glue sticks.
Yep, TU9.
Yeah, Tina. And you fuck.
Exactly. Well, I think we're doing all right actually. We're wasting enough time, which is fantastic. And I think there's a lot of people engaging in the chat, telling us all about their sort of stuff that they've done if they were kids.
Yeah.
But I think maybe we could kind of talk about should we talk about the future a little bit? Maybe we should talk about the future. I think we should talk about the future.
Yeah, I think let's talk about the future. I think that would be well fun.
A local priest in Devon will discover a secret on page 45 of the Presbyterian edition of the Bible that will unlock the secret to bowel irritation.
Oh. There we go. And that is happening.
That came to me. That was
Now.
I was channeling something else.
Exactly. Absolutely fantastic. Well, that is one thing that's going to happen in the future, for sure. That is definitely going to
His
happen.
name is John.
Oh,
Sorry,
my
that
word.
came to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
it gave me shivers.
It's coming in ebbs and flows here.
Oh, my word. So we're gonna just show you something.
Matt Hancock will get divorced. That's something else that's likely going to happen.
Oh, that will not happen.
I wanted to dig out my eyes. What the
That
hell?
won't
Oh, my word.
I see everything. I see the past, the present,
It's,
and the...
it's honestly been a fantastic day on Twitter. It's been a fantastic day.
Oh,
I had
has
a
it?
deadline
The
today, and I
jokes have
kept
been
taking-
hilarious.
Oh, I kept taking so many breaks to look at what was going on. It was fantastic.
Oh, my word. So good.
But that's all we'll say about that.
Okay. It's not a political show.
Although I have realised that literally all that stuff about school was literally just on the basis of you asking me how I was. We've not asked Rob and
Oh,
Gabs.
my word.
I predicted that.
That's why Rob started speaking in tongues. You haven't asked him how his day was.
Rob Thompson, the living predictive text. So, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Now it feels unnatural to do this conversation. Like, it was
To ask me how I am. It's unnatural to know how I am, Joe.
Yeah.
It's an unnatural thing.
Because you've usually told us 3 days before how you're feeling today. Do you know what I mean? Like, so,
I do. I'll let you know ahead of time. But for the sake of the chat, I'll let you know now how I'm going to feel next week. I think I'm going to be grumpy next week. I'm just feeling that. I'm feeling that aesthetic next week. I kind of flitter sometimes between like melancholy, bordering on slight optimism, and then grumpiness. I think those are the three that I kind of like to sit in. So I'm going to go for grumpy next week, I think.
okay.
Today, grand as a bag full of happy little snails.
I don't know what you thought you were going to say bag full of cats for a second there. I don't know why.
I'm trying this word vomit thing out and see if any gold comes up.
It's always gold, Mr. Thompson. That's why you're wonderful. That's why we love you so much.
Thank you. That's kind.
It's not kindness and truth.
That feels unnatural, Joe. Anyway, let's move on. Next.
Yeah, exactly. I feel this is like, I want to try and change up this like system that we have of going around and finding out how everybody is. I think we should just talk cod shit from next week and like have it completely fucking. Oh, really important question. Yeah, what is the cheese prices next week? Sorry.
Cheese prices next week. 375 from Tesco's. Lidl's going a lot cheaper. They're 163. They've just got a deal on. They're going to have one next week because if you look at the stock market, you'll notice that 600 cows have got quite wealthy in the last 3 to 7 hours, and they'll be sending condolences.
Okay. There we go. If anyone sees the price, please do take a photo and bung it onto one of our socials, because we would love to find out if this is going to actually happen. It probably will happen because it's Rob Thompson.
Send us the price of your cheese over at Sabotage the DM on all of our social media.
Literally, the cheese comes into this fucking stream so often. Like the Rebel DMs, there was a huge thing about cheese as well, like on Sunday. So it's just
amazing.
Cheese is always
there. Do you know what I love? I think Evie's sort of like sat there in the background being ever so polite, not wanting to jump on, not wanting to interrupt this very intellectual conversation that we're having.
She's just gone.
She's just
Oh no, she's gone.
Yeah,
Start
she's
this.
So Gabby, do you like cheese?
Do you know what? I've had to grow into it. I think it's something you grow into, isn't it? Don't mind it, like on pizza, but I'm not eating a block of cheese on my own.
No.
Oh no.
What?
There's a sliding scale between that and that.
I mean, you know how some people like cut a little bit off cheese and eat it like it's like a grape? No. No.
Try cheese and grape.
Yeah, no. And I quite like very light cheeses, soft cheeses.
Oh yeah.
Don't mind a camembert. Ooh.
Everyone loves a camembert.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried Camanzola?
Oh yeah.
No, but I tell you what is good. Fuck me. If you get chicken dippers, sweet chili sauce and brie, It's fucking sick, mate. That was like my gateway drug. That was like my gateway food, like cheese into cheese. That's how I learned to eat cheese. It's
Oh my
really
God.
good.
Of course, I come in and we're talking about food.
Hey, Evie's here.
To save the day.
Yay.
I
Have
love it.
enough cheese already. Welcome to the party, Evie.
Hi, everybody. How's everyone? All
What are you
right.
eating? What are you eating?
I'm eating
we got-
mixed olives and Greek feta by Sainsbury's.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Cheese,
Yes.
yeah. Because cheese is life. So, and that's that.
Never
Can you
tried.
hear me okay? Is
We-
everything
Yeah,
working?
fine.
Yeah, I think we could hear you. Just I just hope the stream could hear you. Yes, we have audio.
Fizzlekins was. I think it's because Evie was just there silently snaffling on her cheese and olives. So there was a worry that there wasn't any audio, but we got you. We got ya.
That's sweet ASMR.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sorry I'm late.
No, don't worry about it. I think like when it comes to cheese and stuff, like I'm a massive fan of paneer. Like I goddamn love paneer.
Yeah, yes.
Mm.
Paneer in a
Like
curry
Indian cheese.
is
Indian cottage cheese.
it's
My
nice.
mouth,
Sag paneer. That's the stuff that I have, Gabs.
my mouth loves paneer. My stomach hates paneer.
I think everyone's stomach hates paneer, but it's too
Yeah.
good to not eat.
Tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paneer.
I always
Sorry.
It's you.
There
This
she
comment's
is.
been
There she
really
is.
disruptive.
Firing on all cylinders. There she is.
Okay, well, we said we're going to do something slightly different. So I think what we'll do is how your week has been by what cheese you are. So we can just kind of quickly make our way around. I think I'm going to go with a Port Salut this week. A little bit soft, a bit tangy with orange around the sides. That's how my week has been. And I think as Evie has arrived. Evie, what cheese has your week been?
My cheese is probably I am a baked brie that is so baked that it's really runny and dribbly and delicious. It's been a delicious week full of wonderful moments, but I'm absolutely exhausted. I've been outside for 3 days. So if I was a brie at the beginning of the week, I was in the fridge, I was lovely, I was very solid, and now I'm gooey, but satisfied. Do you know what I mean? Like that's me.
It's what we all hope for.
Yeah,
Satisfied.
a
Especially
gooey
as-
brie, that's me.
Especially as cheeses, like we've always wanted to be a little bit satisfied. Us five cheeses sitting in the sunshine. I think I don't know.
Lovely.
We've taken this vamping until Evie gets here to the absolute extreme. I love
Exactly.
it so hard.
Please do tell us on the chat as well what cheese you are and what your week has been like for which cheese. That would be great. Gabby, what was your cheese this week? Is it still the chicken dippers and camembert?
That's like home comfort. That's like every day. I had to search cheeses because you lot are talking about loads of cheeses and I don't really know any. So I'm going for Mexican hot, which is
Ooh.
That's
spicy.
a pizza.
Again, one of the only times I ever eat cheese is on pizza. Because I went up north and I went to a whole wedding. So it was a spicy week, and I counted and had like 15 drinks in 12 hours. So I'm currently on a 2-day hangover, which is beautiful, but I'm so glad to be here. So I'm a sweaty, spicy Mexican cheese.
Oh yeah, sweat it out.
Yeah, you know when
Perfect.
cheese gets sweaty. Eee.
Yeah, buffet cheese.
Mm.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it gets like apple droplets on top. Yeah.
Oh, you have to like
Yes.
slightly
Mm.
cut out the edges because it's gone a little bit too crispy.
Chat's gone really quiet for the last 10 minutes, just to let you all
I
know.
know. It's because
Oh,
everyone has left
brilliant.
us. They've just gone, no, we're not sticking around for this cheese talk.
Brie and brie, not D&D.
Oh, sweaty pineapple and cheese. Oh my word, from Daz.
Yes.
So, Dan, what cheese are you? Dan, what cheese are you? Dan, what cheese are you?
Cheers to you.
I would say I am a dairy because I've spent most of my time this week in a triangular shaped foil housing. Rob?
Okay, all right. Yeah, cool. Sounds good. I was going to go for cheese string. I'm a cheese string. Because I've been on the go a lot. And it's unnatural to like me, apparently, Joe.
Oh, you're just peeling off your layers, aren't you?
I
Just
love a
peeling it
cheese
away.
Yeah, they're great. Liam
Great
Fleming
name.
loves cheese strings. If Liam Fleming is there, which he probably isn't, but who knows? Maybe he is. He loves a cheese string. He shares our love, Gabs.
Yeah.
Don't know him.
I think people are asking what happened last week. I can't remember what happened last week. Yeah, I think it is that kind of feeling. So in that case, if you can't remember what happened last week, I would imagine that you are a cottage cheese, something that was created very quickly, and it's a light flavouring that could be used as a lunch or a dinner. So now we've got everybody here. I think now we can talk about the future. Okay, finally talk about the future. So we've been kind of putting some few things together in the background. We want to show you a little bit of a video and let you see something of what we've been working on and what will be coming up very, very soon. See you in a second.
Okay, so picture the scene. Everything has built up to this moment. Your party has overcome challenges, defeated lesser foes, saved countless lives, and probably grown immeasurably as people over the past months, possibly years. Through this time, you've spent together, bonds have been forged by battle, memories shared, and perhaps even losses have been grieved. But now you're here, steeling yourself for one final battle, one last push to defeat them, that giant thorn in your side, that evasive foe that has caused you pain and anguish for so long. It's just you and that big, bad, evil, goodness knows what. Well, Total Party Knockout is kind of like that, except we kind of skip all that first bit and go straight to the epic battle. So
Yeah.
teams of 4 clashing with a myriad of legendary monsters in epic battles created in our very own custom-drawn arena. So you guys need to stay tuned because the first session of TPK could be announced at any time. Back to you, Joe.
Anytime?
Anytime.
Anytime.
Don't give it away, Rob Thompson. I know that you can see when it's coming out. No.
You
No.
said anytime.
Anytime. Is it now?
Is it happening now?
Is it
Has it
happening now?
happened already?
Is it now?
So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be the first rule of TPK. So don't talk about TPK. So I think that I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot of epic fun. And yeah, we'll see what happens when it pops up. Other than that, we're probably not going to say very much more about it until nope. Also, just a reminder that we are moving next week. We have a session on the Tuesday.
On the 29th.
Tuesday 29th, and then 2 days later on the Thursday on the 1st as well. So you get double the pleasure, double the fun. It's double mint Waterdeep Mallrats Dragon Heist episode 16 again. Okay, so here we go. So let's kind of like see. God, we are not in the right mood for this today. So let's
Or aren't we? Aren't we?
Aren't we all? So I think it'd be good if we could find out what happened last week on Waterdeep Mallrats Dragon Heist.
Well, last week started with the world's shiniest apology from Phatts to Margot, the woman whose house he trashed. It then quickly moved into the realms of intimidation as Oshi stepped in and worked her magic, and the scene ended with Margot somehow persuading the group to let her daughter manage Trollskull Manor. Oh, the joy. But up next, we're going to play a little game that I like to call Eenie, meeny, nimble, right. As day is turning into night, success is looking out of sight. Are they there yet? Oh no, not quite. It's eeny, meeny, nimble, right. Thank you and welcome to the show. Our first contestant is Oshisota, the Yuan-Ti pureblood. And she's off to the bank in search of a Nimblewight. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, you know what that sound means. It's the lying to the bank manager round. She's really doing a wonderful impression of an absolute lunatic here, but I'm afraid it's not the correct Nimblewight. Sorry, Oshi, but you won't go home empty-handed. Here's a box full of hate and self-righteousness. What's that? You already have that? Well, take it home regardless. It's yours. Up next, we have Big Phatts the Warforged. Now, recently, Phatts has come into some money troubles. After nearly totaling an innocent woman's house. Boo! But nonetheless, he's off and heading towards an organization known as the Gauntlet. Oh, he's through the gates and having a conversation with Nook, the leader of the Gauntlet. Yes, he has managed to get some work down the line, but is that the right Nimblewight? Oh, I'm afraid it's not. Sorry, Phatts, but you won't go home empty-handed. Here's a box full of grumpiness and an overinflated ego. What's that? You have that already? Well, take it home regardless. Thanks for playing. Up next, it's Baggi the half-orc. And she's off and heading towards the house that she was raised in, coming face-to-face with her abusive father. She's done an outstanding job of disguising herself to look human. Oh, she's knocking on the door. I'm sorry. Oh, that's all the time that we have for now. Join us in just a moment as we finish playing Eeny, Meeny, Nimble Right. As day is turning into night, success is looking out of sight. Are they there yet? Oh, not quite. It's Eeny, Meeny, Nimble Right.
Yes. I look forward to these every single fucking week. They're so fucking brilliant.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
I think that
So good.
the chat
So
is
good.
extremely happy with that, Mr. Thompson. That I thoroughly enjoyed that. And yes, we shall continue. I want to
put more effort into those than I do the rest of the time on this stream.
So I can't wait for the grumpy one next week. Really looking forward to it.
That'll be good.
Alrighty, so we shall go into our wonderful montage routine, and we'll see kind of how we get on there. As usual, we usually do talk about some dark things on here, so if just going to place trigger warnings in there, even though we haven't talked about them as a group, I think it's just a good thing to kind of place it in there for this particular section. All right, so I think that we shall begin finally. We're going to do this and go straight to break. You know that, guys. You know, I'll see how it's going to happen. Right. Okay. So, a robot or a mechanical figure leaps over a garden fence, lands on the pansies, springs off and continues its run, bouncing from wall to wall, its red cape flowing from the back. As it leaps over an extremely high wall and climbs deftly up the ivy and falls itself into a window of a very posh-looking house. As it lands, it stops, drops to a knee, as its arm goes into its cloak, and it pulls out a small object, as we see them aim it towards somebody from behind, and they open their hand. Cut to.
A static, creeping time-lapse shot of Pups' old bed at number 3 Black Star Lane, focusing on the Harper badge, slowly corroding over time. We see the sun rise and fall. The weeks pass. A giant mass of flesh and machinery jumping from a flaming building. Bowls smashing and reforming. Rust forming on the sides of the badge. Silence. Deathly silence befalling the street. The cleansing of a fallen friend. The colours on the harper's sigil slowly fading into the metal. The rising of a riotous militia. The flames licking around the building, rising higher and higher, soot and ash engulfing the bed. Silence. Silence. The image of Pup dusting off the bed and searching for the badge. Finding it, taking one look around the old place before leaving, never to return. Cut 2.
Look, I know I said I wouldn't work for any more organizations again, but we have to make some money. Yes, I know it was my fault. Yes, Little Rix, I'm aware of that. I didn't mean to get you hurt, okay? Well, because my memory was corrupted. No, that can't happen to you two. Because you're a kobold and I'm a warforged. No, being grumpy has nothing to do with it, and I'm not grumpy. Oh, she said that, did she? And what else did she say? Well, you tell Oshi to watch her. Never mind. Look, Little Rix, who you choose to spend your time with is up to you. Because I have to go to work to earn us some money. I know it was my fault.
Cut 2.
The blue of the black. The blue of the badge flashed in the light as he hurriedly tried to cover it. The low music and low light was normal at these parties, as was people trying to hide their identities. Oshi smiled at this. She loved the opportunity to shame and embarrass, but also to blackmail. She glided over to him, and his cheeks flushed as she spoke in hushed tones. Later in the evening, after some spiced courage, his cheeks ruddy from the alcohol now, his fingers travelled down Oshi's spine, his slightly chapped lips hesitatingly close to hers. In a sharp movement, she pulled the city watch badge from the piles of clothes next to him and held the sharp end of the shield shape to his neck. Emma, my dear, what an unfortunate position you find yourself in. Her other hand holding the cool metal of her dagger to his ribs. Our little secret will stay as such if you hold up your side of our bargain. Breathless and scared, he managed a nod, and Oshi started to list her demands of protection and anonymity on the streets. Cut 2.
A woman sits in a rocking chair in a candle-lit room. There are books and journals scattered and various trinkets collected from what looks like many travels, though the woman doesn't look well-travelled herself. Her nails are neat, her dress is well sewn, and her posture proper. The only thing unruly about her is the messy hair on her head and the objects scattered around her. She takes her lovely nailed hands and laces them, half-moon shaped, around a slight bump protruding from her dress. She sings, little one, soon to be free, yet I'll love you long before you come to be. Long before your first morning dew on wet from spider, long before your first taste of sweet malt cider, I'll love you, little one. Oh, I'll love you, little one. Little one, don't be too long, for I love you now while singing this. The door swings open with a crash. The woman stops singing as if she's been caught stealing fine meats or slitting someone's throat. A man sways. He belches. Cut 2.
As we see a huge study. On the all the way around this study, there are heads that are like hanging on the wall. However, where you'd expect to see a deer or an elephant, maybe. There are orcs and kobolds. As we hear a banging at the door. As he sits, we see this largely hunched gentleman sort of slams his glass down and crawls his way up from his chair. He walks slowly out through his study, down the stairs. We hear the door knocking again, bang, bang, bang. As he puts his hand into his pocket and gets towards the door, he drops his keys and bends down to pick them up, his long, slightly hairy hand going down to pick up the keys as we follow past the keys and go through the stone floor, past the sewers of the city, down until we're in front of a large and ancient door that we pass through like ghosts into a room filled with hundreds and thousands of dragons. So we see him take the key and open the door. The large lock on his side is shaped as with a lion's mouth as he opens and creaks it open. As he stood in front of him is a small human. As we see the shoulders, the hulking shoulders of this person, as the camera swings round, we see this very heavily bearded man, sort of salt and peppered in the beard. His hair is sort of gruffly sort of together with a silver stripe that goes down one side. Even through his clothes, you can see the hair from his back, on his back of his neck and on his back, kind of protruding slightly out of the collar. His shoulders seem to almost go past his ears as they bulge up into huge muscular arms. His shirt is rolled up. Holding in his hand is a tankard full of whiskey. As he puts his hand into his pocket, you see that he pulls out a cigar. His eyes are almost bloodshot, and his nose is already that kind of speckled blood red. It goes across the face. As Baggi smells that smell, whiskey, cigar, and musk. What is it?
Good day, Lord Phylund. But my name is Anne Largan, and I've been sent from the Temple of Gond. We're offering a new well, it's a service. It's a service,
Speak up,
really.
speak up. Would you please speak up?
A new service for anyone in the city, such as yourself, who may have mechanical devices, objects, servants, just to see if you need any of them looking at, fixing, that kind of thing.
How much will it cost?
It depends on what the thing is. Do you have something in mind that you need looking at?
We have many contraptions that need looking into.
Okay, so you'd be interested in the service. Well, I'd have to take a look what exactly it is
Fine.
before I can give you a quote.
And he sort of like steps out of the way and sort of slightly stumbles backwards as you kind of enter through the door. You come into the black marbled floor. It seems as if everything has been covered in a dark varnish, or at least a dark layer of dust. You notice the paintings all the way along the walls itself of this maid lobby. As dead center, almost in a place of pride, is a picture of Lord Phylund slaying a dragon. But you remember a different painting being there once. As you kind of step through, in the center of the hallway, or center of the lobby, there is a griffin, a live griffin, that stood on a piece of stone. Around its neck are chains and a long steel neck brace, and chains are kind of coming down to the ground. You see that the wings have been clipped, as it seems that this is a piece of furniture for the Phylunds. I think, Baggi, you've only ever seen this lobby once, and that was when you left, really. I don't think you saw very much of it. But before, there was a different creature there. As you kind of walk in, you hear that you feel that the place is deathly silent. If you do a quick perception check for me, please.
Yeah, of course. Please be high. Okay. What is it? 25. It's a crit.
As you kind of look around the space, you see just like these tiny eyes, it's like maybe 2.5 foot off the ground, as they peek around the corner. As you see this kobold sort of sneak around, and you can see that they've got this kind of black eye on one side, and they're kind of like wearing what could just be rags, and a broom. As he sneaks back in again, you have the feeling as you look around that there are scuff marks everywhere, like certain almost claw marks on the ground itself, or scratched across the wall. There may be something like gouged out. On the walls itself, like the study that we saw at the beginning, there are heads of orcs that are on the around on different plaques. Some of them have different names under them. But there's one in particular that has a pride of place just under the painting of him taking down the dragon. This one, the eyes have been gouged out, and it looks as if something has gone in a fit of violence and rage, tearing at the flesh and tearing at the eyes and the mouth. And underneath it says Grokart. As you kind of walk past, you recognize the skin tone. It reminds you of your own. As you walk through, he takes you through. He's like, please hurry up. I'm very busy today.
Apologies, Lord. I was just admiring all of your things on the wall. Lots to see.
Liv looks around. Yes, they are things. Is there anything in particular that perks your eyes?
Well, I was initially drawn to that wonderful painting of you, and then my eyes went down to that orc, that horrible orc underneath. Very much different to the others. It doesn't seem to have been kept well preserved, if you don't mind me saying. Looks like it was taken down quite brutally. Is there a story there?
Not one that I will share with you. Except that one lived here.
Ah.
I would ask you not to look at it again.
Gladly.
Do you follow me? He takes you kind of through into like a dining hall, and again, it's just sort of every time you walk into a space, you see, like, you hear the scuttering of something sort of running away. You come round the corner and you see, as you go past, like, the kitchens. Inside there are about 15 goblins, all of which are in there cooking. Many of them are shackled down to the ground in front of the stove, the chopping board. As you kind of make your way through in towards kind of the main courtyard, as the light sort of bursts through, this brightly like coloured sand, white sand, inside this very dark building. The first thing that you see as you walk through, as he walks through, he kind of like, we'll be going through to the warehouse, the workshop. It's something that I call the stick that I'd like you to see.
Of course,
Are you aware of what we do here?
Not fully, actually, Lord. I apologise. I know that you're a man of great noble standing, and I assume you have some sort of business, but well, it's none of my business. I mean, I assume something to do with monsters.
And then there's this roar as he steps out, and as he continues his walk. Then you see that there is a ginormous 15, maybe 16-foot troll sort of standing in the middle of the courtyard. It's got these kind of like big chains that look as if they're made of magic, that are wrapped around his hands. It's being pulled to the ground in front of its knees. Around them, surrounding, is a group of trainers, and essentially they have these wands and they're prodding it, and it's sparking every time. One of them stands in front of it going, look at me, look at me. As you kind of walk past, you see this like huge troll struggling to kind of get up. Every time it moves, it gets hurt, as its eyes sort of end up looking towards him, and you hear that low as it kind of looks forward, and you see the guy grab hold of the troll's chin and pull it down. I am your master. Say the words. As you hear it just go, Master. You walk through the courtyard and you see there is a you also see that there's a box. It's almost like a cage, sorry, like a cage box. And inside you see that there's some sort of fish-like creature that's sort of lying in the sand in the sunshine. There is another trader stood in front of them, or sat down in front of them, drinking water. As you see this like drying out merfolk as they stare over at the trader as they're drinking the water. You can see this place is full of absolute horrors. A place where creatures and sentient beings are being squashed and changed and turned into something more docile and controllable. Almost as if the grace of them is being pulled out of them forcefully. As you kind of make your way through and you see that there's this like huge double doors, I mean like huge, maybe 30-foot high doors into this ginormous chamber. As you kind of go in out of the sunshine. Outside, out the front, Pups, you can see Baggi change into a human and then go through the front door. As you're lying, like, hiding inside a bush, I reckon. And you just watched her go in.
And how are the walls looking?
It looks like a prison. You think you could use things like windows, lampposts, like things like that to kind of get up, but the walls are extremely high. Kind of as you would expect if they were, if they had a dragon in there, they would need to keep it out. It's that kind of height of wall that we're looking at here.
Okay. And in terms of, like footholds, windows, things like that, to try and almost like parkour, Assassin's Creed style my way up?
I think you think it's a difficult climb.
Okay.
But not impossible.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like there's any other way in or out.
Not that you can see. You think that you could probably get around it, but looking at the walls, and I think you have a knowledge of buildings, and like scaling around the outside. If they're this big this side, they're probably bigger around the back.
Yeah, and every moment that the door is closed, Pups doesn't have his eyes on Baggi, and that's a bad thing. So I think we tried to scale it as quickly and as quietly as possible, using all the little like any sort of like crags and holds and.
Okay, so let's do.
So nervous.
Let's do the acrobatics check, because I think you use acrobatics, don't you, to climb?
Yeah. Okay, so.
After that, I'm going to ask you to do a stealth check as well.
26.
26, great. So you find ways to kind of like swing, and then you're going up, and your tiny, small fingers, goblin-like fingers, are able to grab onto that tiniest brick that is hanging out, or that slight piece of mortar that hasn't quite been filled in correctly, as you're able to kind of flip and deftly move yourself up. Let's do the stealth check as well.
Come on, 3-point landing. 13.
Okay, so you start climbing your way up. I'm going to do a roll.
Okay. Oh no.
As you kind of climb your way up.
Okay.
You swing past a window, and your foot like taps onto the glass. As you can hear inside someone go, and so you see this small face of a child. So they run up, and you see, and they look they start looking outside, and you can hear another person. Sounds like an adult. And they go, Timothy, come away from the window. He's like, but I heard something. I said, please, don't be stupid. You're on the second floor. But I heard something. So he sort of continues to kind of look out. As you kind of continue to listen, you hear that this child is sort of being roughly pulled back from the window. As you just hear the Timothy going, Nana, please, I didn't mean to. As you can hear then a slap. And it goes silent. As you climb up the rest of the way onto the roof.
Oh, this is not a fun place. Yeah, like there was almost a moment when that slap happened that Pups' body almost like threw him into that window without his brain having a chance to catch up. And then he was like, and then the brain sort of took over and was like, no, Baggi, one impossible thing at a time. Baggi, you made a promise to Baggi, and like climbs up and tries to find a vantage point to see if he can see her.
You climb up onto the roof, and on the roof there is like a flat area. The place is absolutely full of flies, and the stench kind of hits your nose. As you look around, there are not hundreds, maybe 6 small frame skeletons that litter the roof of this place, all of which have been shackled to stones.
Just been left up there to die.
That's what you think.
Or taken by the crows.
You go over towards one, and you look down at the, what's this part called?
What, like the forearm?
Forearm. And you see that they are roughly the same sort of size as yours. And the skulls have that larger cranium at the top.
Pups places his hand on like the top of one of the skulls and mutters a prayer to Maglubiet in Goblin. And then there's nothing that you can do. He sort of mutters that under his breath. There's nothing you can do.
I think with that prayer, the flies seem to have disappeared, and the stench seems to lift slightly. As you look down at the courtyard, as you see that ginormous troll drop to a knee and being held by its chin, as you see this this large humanoid, Hulk-shouldered humanoid, and a smaller human walking across the courtyard and into one of the largest buildings in the complex. As you recognise it's Baggi that has walked across.
I'll follow along, trying to stay sort of parallel to them. But is there an indication of? You said that the chains were being held by magic. Is there an indication of anyone around, as to could be the source of that spell?
Okay, I think you haven't been around that much magic, really, have you?
Just Baggi.
So I think maybe if you can do a perception rather than an arcana. And I think what you're looking for is the opposite. So actually you're looking for those who are not acting as if they don't have magic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I think I'd noticed like the hold, the concentrate, like having seen Baggi like hold on to a spell, maybe like something like that, even if I had no concept of like what it was, like almost that, you know, the classic that.
Yeah.
Perception 12.
I think you become slightly overwhelmed with the brutality of this courtyard, I think. More than anything else, and you try to actually spend that time instead to sort of calm yourself back into that mantra that you've kind of created since seeing Timothy, which is that kind of, this is for Baggi, this is for Baggi,
this is for Baggi, follow Baggi. Yeah, and then it makes me go, realizing that I very nearly fucked up against that window, makes me go even more carefully, almost that balance beam style of like heel to toe, like trying to like ninja on a roof style, trying to be as silent as possible.
Okay. Let's do another stealth check then.
No, I'm not going to use it yet. 25.
Lovely. So you kind of find yourself kind of cutting from chimney to chimney, being able to deftly kind of move your way around to this larger warehouse. I think at the top there is actually like a skylight to the warehouse itself. It's a very simple window. It seems to be more for ventilation than it is for light, as it were. But you do find your way in. As we return back through those large 30-foot walls, and you're still following this hulking figure. As you walk in, you see that there is a number. Hang on, I did have a list. I did have a list of stuff. So right here. Yeah. So you see, you see another bunch of kobolds that are like sweeping up leaves on the floor. And in the center of this large chamber, there is a huge tree. The tree's leaves seem to be falling off, and there's sort of like a big pile of leaves on the ground. On the bark, you see what looks like a face inside the bark, as it sort of frowns down. The dryness of it on the bark is sort of cracking around it, and its last leaves are beginning to fall. As you walk past the tree end and go towards what's called the stick, and you see a large contraption. The contraption seems to have like a saw end on it, which is connected to a number of other cogs and wheels. You can see that there's a pile of wood, like branches and stuff, that's also next to it. The damn thing jammed.
Ah, I see. And presumably you're using this obviously to take wood from this. And she gestures towards the tree end.
This is because of it has not been behaving properly.
Oh, I see. So less in terms of just firewood for your home, and more as a way of punishment.
And he goes, "No, we will burn it." As you see the tree end's eyes sort of open slightly, and then close again.
If I may be so bold as to suggest that your treant will be able to produce far more wood if it's properly looked after. It doesn't look in the.
It's not for me.
I see.
This is going to a park in Neverwinter. It will be the central piece of the great grand garden. But it must learn to grow in one place.
Well, I can certainly take a look for you. And I think Baggi goes to she gets out like her tools and starts looking at all the cogs and everything, and probably can see what the problem is, and pretends to kind of work away at it, but actually she's kind of causing it to jam further, so that she can delay, I suppose, the suffering. And she just returns and says, I'm afraid that it seems like due to overusage, certain parts have worn away, and I would have to go and find some more and actually return in order to fix this. I can fix this. I just won't be able to do it right now.
When would you return?
Within the week. I would need to check our workshop and see if we have the correct pieces.
Kind of puts his hand in
and
his
it-
pocket and pulls out like a small bag of gold and throws it on the floor. Can you make it by tomorrow?
She looks at the gold and she's disgusted with it, to be honest. 3 days.
Very well.
And she takes the gold pieces and puts them in her pocket. So is this the only thing you have any problems with? We actually specialise in various things, mostly obviously cogs and everything. I think the main thing is if you have anything, any Nimblewights. I know they're very popular at the moment with lords,
Yes,
and we're
I
specialising in
have,
that at the moment.
I took my delivery 3 days ago of my Nimblewight.
And how is everything? Is it in working order? Are you satisfied? It would be good to pass back to my superiors.
Well, it's not as good as a flesh servant, but it does well enough.
Excellent.
I don't like its face.
Oh, what particularly about its face? It might be something we can alter for you.
It seems too plain. No features of any kind. I was
see.
thinking about placing a head upon it. Give it some character. And he sort of giggles.
a head?
Yes.
You mean a flesh head?
Yes.
I see.
What, is that some sort of sacrilege or something?
It could be perceived in that way. I would have to
You seem very
consult.
sensitive to certain matters. What's the word
Oh.
they use these days? Woke.
I've not heard that term before.
And he
Um,
pulls out the bottle, opens it up, and says, "Newfangled flapjabs." Just takes a drink. What's wrong with hierarchy? What's wrong with saying what you feel?
Nothing at all.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have no problems with anyone. I mean, the Luskans that made this Nimblewight are perfectly fine. I wouldn't want them to come over and go into my house, however, and might steal something.
So the Luskans delivered this to you. I see.
And he looks surprised at you when you say that, ask that question. And then that instantly goes back to normal again. Yes.
Very well. Well, I can certainly see what we can do to make your Nimblewight less plain, and I will talk to my superior. It's not that I'm being fragile at all. That's the complete opposite. I think what you're doing here is that you're running a very well-oiled machine in your own way, and I appreciate that. However, I just have to be careful of what I can promise, as I am very skilled at what I do, but I am still learning the ropes, and I hope you can appreciate that.
Of course. If you don't mind, and he's sort of like very busy. As you see this kind of like large hulkering man kind of comes over he has like a long stick. On the end of the stick is sort of like staff. It's like charged with electrical energy. And he begins to whisper something into his ear. And I think above them in the rafters, you kind of like, as they start whispering, you kind of literally look around the space and you can see up in the shadows, you see there's a small figure sort of like stood on a beam watching you, as he then turns over and begins whispering in the ear. Excuse me, I'm afraid I do have a delivery.
Of course. Shall I see myself out, or?
No, and he rings a bell. Ding, 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 ding. As comes around the corner is a small, again, another goblin. And it's like, this one's fairly well dressed. Yes, master. You show this one out, please. Yes, master. Follow me. So he sort of takes you through the house, and you can see that it seems to be he's very well dressed, this one, as you kind of like make your way around the sort of back route of the warehouse. I think Pups, you kind of follow through above them. As you kind of come to the back of the warehouse, the doors but at the back of the warehouse are not the ones you came through. These other 30-foot wall like doors fling open, and this cart comes in, and inside you just hear this almighty like lion's roar as like a case is sort of brought in, and there's a huge like ruffle of an emotion of people coming together around this thing with spears and these charged staffs, and as this cover gets pulled off, what you see is something that looks like a mix of a lion, a scorpion's tail, and wings. As you see this great beast, this manticore, being kind of brought and controlled the way in. I would say imagine that scene from Jurassic Park, the kind of bringing a velociraptor in. It's that kind of thing of there's huge commotions as you kind of go out into the main house. So you're with the Temple of Gond, is that correct?
Yes. Yes, my name is Anne. And you are?
I have no name.
Ah, I see. Have you been here a long time?
Most of my life.
And how do you find it working here?
It is my greatest honor.
Are you well looked after?
What sort of a question is that?
Oh, I was, just making small talk, really. It was very interesting to meet the Lord.
He is an interesting and brilliant man.
Yeah.
As you kind of go past the kitchen again, there's suddenly a drop of something and something smashed on the floor, and there's a huge chatter in Goblin as this well-suited one sort of turns and starts shouting at them in Goblin, and he walks over to one of them and just hits them with like his belt. It just keeps hitting them and then comes back out. My apologies. If you would follow me out. And I think, Pups, you're kind of sneaking through all of this. So I think what you hear is somebody drops essentially a saucepan of soup. As it hits the ground, you can hear inside the kitchen what they're arguing about is quickly cover it up. we must cover it up, cover it up, cover it up. And then what you hear from him is essentially a tirade of abusive language and the continual kind of place pushing down the oppression. To then, the last thing you hear from them is that you will not be eating today. And that's the thing that you hear in Goblin as you kind of make your way, as Baggi and this Goblin kind of makes their way through to the front of the house. As you go past that head again, Baggi, you take another look at it as you walk past. There's something incredibly familiar about it. As you get to the front door. So you shall be returning in 3 days?
Yes, 3 days. And I'll have all the parts, and I'll certainly get it fixed for you. One question, sorry, I'm terribly, terribly nosy. I get told this all the time, but we make acquaintances. I might be back more often than not. That particular orc up there, that one grow cart.
Please don't say their name.
I apologise. But that one, were they here when you were? Lord Phylund told me that they used to work here. And I don't know. I'm just being extremely.
They were my predecessor.
I see. So I guess that's there as a reminder not to step out of line then.
I would call it an inspiration for greatness.
And at this point, I think Baggi's hands that are still gloved and in her pockets is just burning. It's almost like the gloves are like heating up at the ends. Well, thank you for your hospitality today and taking me back. And I will see you in 3 days.
We look forward to it, Anne. As you kind of leave and the door shuts. And it's at that moment, Pups, that you realise you're trapped in here. That you're hiding in the shadows and you're going to need to wait until this lobby is clear to get out. As you stand in the corner, you begin to see a few things. So the goblin sort of turns, and as he walks by, he walks up to the griffin and he places a hand upon its chest and strokes it. He puts his hand in his pocket and pulls out some breadcrumbs and feeds the griffin. And suddenly the door bursts open from the back. Lord Phylund kind of walks in, and he literally picks up this goblin, tosses him across the room. Damned manticore! And it's like, it's just the master. He's like, send me something that's not as fierce. Damn thing died. You! And he kind of points over at the goblin. Says, Master, please. And he's like, it's you, isn't it? You did this! And he grabs hold of the goblin and drags him up the stairs. As he drags him up the stairs, you see that there's actually like he grabs hold of a painting and pulls the painting over, and there's a cage door. It's on the first landing of the stairs. As he opens up the door of the cage and throws the goblin down, and you hear the goblin roll down steps, as if rolling down further below you into some sort of dungeon. As he slams the door and then shuts the door, but shuts the painting behind, and the whole house goes silent. And as he walks down the stairs, you can see him heaving and breathing as his hair begins to kind of grow around him and around onto his skin, and his nails begin to kind of grow and his muscles become larger as he puts his claw into the woodwork of the walls and scratches down with his claw. So we see these kind of claw marks got gouged down the walls itself, and then he gets down to the bottom of the stairs and they just all start to retract. So he walks over to his study, opens the door and slams it. As you stand in silence, you look towards the door and make your way.
Coast is clear.
Silent. Nobody's moving. Nobody's making a sound. So I think I would ask for another stealth check here to maintain that silence.
Okay. All right. This is the one that I'm going to use my bomb on. Because I think this one's pretty key. 19.
But you kind of make your way over to the door, and you go to take your hand onto the door handle, and it's locked. But you see it is a fairly standard lock.
Is this the door downstairs where the goblin's been thrown, or is this where Lord Phylund's just gone?
This is the front door. I
Oh, it's
assumed
the front door.
I assumed that you went to the front door, but you can go anywhere you wish.
I'm going to go out the front door.
Okay, cool. Okay. If you wanted to do something else, you're absolutely welcome to, of course.
I think if I was in a one shot, I think I would do something more, but I think I'm woefully outnumbered right now. And I think as I was making my way down there, just under my breath, just silently, almost mouthing the words, just mouthing a repeated phrase in Goblin, and carry on doing so as I tried to pick this lock with my thieves' tools.
What's the phrase that you say?
You will take your last breath before I take mine.
Okay, cool. Do you want to do the lockpick? And I'm going to say this becomes a focusing mantra, so you can do your thieves' tools dexterity with advantage.
Okay. I'm glad. 23.
As you kind of like place that in, and as you get through to the fourth repetition, opens through, you open the door and you slide out. As you come out, you see that Baggi's not in the front courtyard, but you go through onto the street. And you kind of like take a left and you walk across and you see her in an alleyway as she's sat down on the ground. And we're going to take a little break there.
He's the worst.
He's the worst. I know what that Alphonse wasn't as bad as that. Like,
No, Alphonse chicken feed in comparison to this prick.
oh my god, I can taste it with my mouth. It's horrible.
Yeah. And fair play, Joe. Fair play for going there, man.
No, fair play to both of you. That was a fantastic scene. I very much enjoyed that. Okay, good. So we have seen quite a few different bits and pieces there. I'm hoping some of you have picked up on some of those things, and some of you may have not picked up on some of those things, which I think is quite exciting. But I think we have found a key piece of information to help us start our investigation, I think. All right, so we're going to take a little break now. And we're going to come back in about 5 or 10 minutes' time, I think. And then we shall return for the continued investigations of the Waterdeep Mallrats and Dragon Heist. So I shall see you guys in a little while. However, there's probably something that we need to do. I'd ask you to.
Just seeing quite a lot of new people lurking around in the chat. If you enjoy your, if you like your entertainment, starting with some frankly ridiculous cheese chats, and then segueing perfectly into absolutely breathless tension and thriller horror, then please do consider giving us a follow. There's new peeps in, as you can see. We're a friendly bunch. We're all on the chat, and yeah, come and join us. Give us a follow, and we've got quite a lot coming up very, very soon. So yeah, now's a good time.
Cool. All right, well, I might show that TPK video again, just because, hey, why not? And we shall see you guys in about I'll see you in about 5-10 minutes time. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Mm. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yum, nom, 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 nom. Literally,
So
I think
warm.
the heavens opened, and we went for a break, and it absolutely chucked it down outside. That was quite intense. Literally outside with with an umbrella, you know, that sort of sound. It was lovely. Really enjoyed it. Well, I'm glad
Mother
that
Nature
you've
having a little cry
exactly.
at the epicness of the scene.
Oh God! Well, I hope you had a good break. I hope you got yourself a nice drink from a Thorpe. I hope you've got a gin with you at least, and I'll be disappointed otherwise. But I love you, so I won't be disappointed. You have a cup of tea. I love you. So, well, I thought what we might do
Grounded.
is... Exactly, I'm grounded. I'm so grounded. I'm done. Oh, she has. Great. I love that. From a Thorpe, I have. Oh, it's like brilliant. Yeah. Okay, so I thought what we'd do, because there was a lot of clues and hints and things inside of that. And when we went to break, I think Evie sort of splurted out the things that I was like, yep, glad you picked this up on them. So I thought we might talk about them a little bit before we kind of move on. So yeah, so what do you think you've kind of found out during that little excursion?
Well, for anyone who doesn't know, in series 1 or 2, can't remember, Baggi, when she was 8, she found out from Perry Proudfoot, the librarian at the Castellantas, that her mother died shortly after she was born, which has always been a strange occurrence. She doesn't know why or how. And so then upon going into the Phylund's villa and seeing the orc on the wall with very similar features, very similar skin tone to her own, and then learning, of course, that that person actually worked there and was the predecessor of the goblin, and the way in which it was very brutally, obviously, murdered, she has realised that that person is her actual birth father. No. Obviously, the circumstances surrounding it, bombshell. So the circumstances surrounding that is still very, very mysterious. How it happened, why it happened, is completely unbeknownst to her. But Baggi's kind of had a real moment of like, oh, well, wow, you know, that's intense. The other things of note are, of course, the Nimblewight is probably eeny, meeny, Nimblewight, not the Nimblewight we are looking for today. sadly. So
Oh.
what does Baggy go home with though?
Well, Baggy, I'm afraid it's not the right Nimblewight. However, you won't go home empty-handed. You will receive a box of being generally a boring character, and grief, lots of grief. Oh, you have that already. Playing.
Thank you,
nothing-
Mr. Thompson.
Nothing brings me more joy than just the wide-eyed of I can't think anything. Just be a dick.
Oh god, yeah.
But
Horrible normal persona.
but of course, the Nimblewight was a gifter. A gift, it seems, from the Luskin family.
Well, the
Which,
Luskins. The Luskins. So I think it's important to kind of clear this up as well. Is that the Luskins are not a family. The Luskins is a nation.
Oh, nice.
A nation of sort of almost drow-like elves to the north. So you now know that the Nimblewights have come from the Luskins. I will say, I mean, you think it's a gift? Cool. If you think it's a gift,
Maybe
go with that. If that's what you want to kind of go away with, thinking it's a gift. But you've also got to go back there 3 days time.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to. There's an opportunity to be able to return to the household as well. Which I think is there. Anything else that we picked up on whilst we were there?
Well,
He's
Chat's
a
been
dick.
kicking off. The chat's been really kicking off. I don't know who started it, but Timothy, the little boy that was mentioned in there, we all think Timothy Ting, Erskine Bling's former partner, who mysteriously disappeared.
Wow. There you go. Mysteries upon mysteries. It's like the X-Files. So... okay.
It's also confirmed as well that the Phalans, of course, are monster trainers, which I think Baggy was kind of learned at one point when she was younger anyway as well, probably from Perry Proudfoot. But they are obviously very heavily into training what they deem as monsters, and abusing them, and basically, probably trading them and selling them and all that kind of stuff. And that's where their entire wealth comes from. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've missed. Anyone? Anything else? No.
He's a shifter.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he's some sort of shape changer in some way. Which is also interesting, considering that he hates monsters as such. Like, he has a very fiery temper.
Yeah, when he gets mad, he gets hairy.
And he gets
Closeted, self-hating lycanthrope, tale as old as time.
Oh, God.
Oh, here we go. No roses in that house.
And another thing that I do think is quite important is actually what Pups was sort of trying to investigate in some way, is that there's obviously some magic being used to restrain the monsters. Yeah, so that's another thing to sort of pick up on, I suppose.
Yeah, so sort of like they're skilled in what they do, I suppose, is the thing. And the poor fucking tree ant.
Oh,
Cunts, I used the C word for the first time on this stream. Because they're like restraining and cutting down fucking tree ants. Motherfuckers, man. Like, it's come from my own brain and I hate myself for it.
I tell you what, I saw when as soon as you said a big roar, I saw Gabby's eyes raise a little, and then when you saw I heard lion head, I saw Gabby's eyes widen like saucers. I was like, if it's Baragon again, we are. She's going in like the Terminator.
Literally, get texting. Baragon's here. Gotta go.
Yeah.
Torture kit will be coming out.
So we know that so I'm going to go on this Luskin connection a little bit. So we know that the Temple of God doesn't like using that word. there was Luskan spies at one point down in the dock ward. And Oshi failed a perception check when around loads of boats. I think that's kind of like what I'm going to kind of surround it in.
Yeah, we should think about the roles that we failed. That's where I go wrong.
Yeah, that's how you should
I
always
assume that
think
everything I know is everything I should.
I think it's all down to the. I think we're going to end up on the indemnity. You know, I think we're going to end up surrounded by Kenku on the indemnity. Something's going to happen there. But also, actually, hang on. So Lord Phylund's Nimblewight doesn't just have the wrong face; it has no face or a head. It has no head. Why does his Nimblewight have no head?
It has no features. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just plain. It's just like a really boring looking. He wants to put some kind of monster's head on his Nimblewight because he's a sick and twisted psychopath.
Good.
I'm telling you, his head is gonna end up on that fucking Nimblewight. It's gonna be his.
Yeah.
I want to go Jurassic Park on that place. I want to turn all the fences off.
Yeah.
All the magic fences turning off. Set all the monsters free.
Yeah, I just don't know if those monsters would actually react or not.
No, probably not. Oh.
Poor monsters.
We need a druid.
God damn it! Wish I had a druid.
All right. I've
Where's
got
a
one
druid
rolled
when
up
you need
next. So
Well, as you should, Rob Thompson.
Yeah. All right. So lots of stuff happened there. So I think we're going to move on. As we go back over to Trollskull Alley, and what we see is a pair of feet, like little kobold feet, barely touching the ground. And all you can hear is, "Put me down, Francis! Just put me down!"
No, we gotta have a word with her.
No, we don't. We don't need to have a word with her.
Yes, we fucking do. Doom, 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 doom. Let me in.
Please, Fats. Please, Fats. She's just got home. Please don't do this.
Yeah, well, she needs to talk to me. Doom, 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 doom.
What time is it, Joe? Do you think?
I think it's still the same day, I think. So you've kind of gone out and come back. And I think that's Big Fats has kind of wandered in, had that conversation from the start that we had during the montage, and then sort of marched upstairs. So I think it's in the afternoon. I think you might have had your afternoon nap if you want to be the sleeping, because that sounds like you want to be sleeping.
Well, I think Oshi's was like lying in bed, probably reading something or doing some sewing, and then as the banging on the doors happened, she sat up. So her bed's like horizontal to the door, and she sat up, and she picks up a rope from the floor which leads up round the door frame, and she says, "Come in."
All right.
puts Little Rix down, opens the door.
And as he opens the door, she pulls this rope, and it's, Elizabethan torture equipment, and there was those cages that went on people's heads. So as she pulls that, she's going to try. Hopefully it's going to drop. It depends how big Fats' head is, because they're probably built for like humanoid.
All right, let's do a deck saving throw and see if you don't have a bucket. I'm going to call it a bucket. Do you mind if I call it a bucket?
Yeah.
I think it's funny if it's a bucket.
All right.
Let me have a look.
I'm not going to use Danger Sense, one of my barbarian traits, because
No, though.
Because you didn't see it.
I mean, I think it's pretty fucking safe to assume that your room is heavily trapped, but I'm not going to use it because that's funny. Let's do it. Ooh.
Oh, double five.
Fuck it on the head.
So literally, you just like, and it's like spins on it, like perfectly slots onto his head.
Motherfucker!
Swinging his arms.
I'm gonna fucking kill you!
And then Oshi just gestures Little Rix over and pats the bed next to her so he can come and run over and sit next to her.
So he runs over I'm gonna do a little roll for him and see if he does it quietly, and see if he manages to kind of get around.
Doesn't get punched in the
Phatts.
face.
Yeah, exactly. So let's do that for him. +2, I think. Oh, so he as he runs through, he knocks into the leg of Big Phatts.
And he like feels him and he grabs him by the scruff. Not so fast!
Get
Take
let go of me!
Take this fucking bucket off my head.
Say please!
No, you little shit. Take the bucket off my head.
But by this point, Oshi's now throwing like thick like pebbles or like just stuff that's in her room that she just doesn't tidy because Little Rix does it for her. And she's throwing them and they're like dinging off the bucket.
And Phatts' arms, like his design is pretty good for murdering things, but his arms is like a T-Rex. Like he can't reach his own head. So he's got Little Rix about here, hoping that he can use his little arms to take it off.
Take it off, I said.
And he looks at, and you feel him sort of turn slightly as if he's looking over at Oshi.
Don't fucking look at her. Take it off.
And he kind of like mouths like, how did he know? And then he kind of like puts his hands gingerly towards it, and then just like lifts off the bucket.
Puts Little Rix down.
So you've taken shits that are scarier than me, have you? That's what you've been telling them, is it? You've defecated things that can fight better than me. Is that what you're telling him? Answer me! He's also told me that you've been training him.
I didn't say that at all.
Are you?
You don't have an appointment, so you better make this quick.
Us too.
Hmm?
You're training him, huh?
And Phatts just starts to go over, looking around the room, and he finds Oshi's bow and holds it.
I'll fucking snap this.
Well, he's already had one adult in his life knock him out, so he had to have someone else to try and train him to defend himself next time against a big, shiny bastard. Put the bow down, Big Phatts. Put it down.
I don't want you corrupting his mind with all your poison talk, your F's and Jeffs. I never fucking swear around him.
Too fucking
I'm actually
right.
immune to poison. So
I
it's
know
no
what you're
poison to me.
like. I know what you do. I'm not having you changing him into a killer.
What do you mean, having her changing me?
What do you mean having her changing me?
I'm making my own choices and I'm changing myself.
Yeah, and you're getting awful lippy for a kid.
Look, I am almost 9 years old, thank you very much.
So what are you training him?
Self-defense.
Oh, yeah?
Dad is so confused right now.
Let's see.
And he pushes Little Rix forward.
Go on.
Well,
I want to see what she's taught you.
Little Rix, you don't have to perform for this.
and he kind of like puts his finger up.
Oh, shit. We've created a monster gas.
And then he turns to the Big Rat and goes, I don't have to do anything for you. So look, come here. And he kind of like gestures you to come down towards you. Like, go down towards him.
All right.
And then he grabs a throat and puts a knife to your throat.
You know, metal doesn't cut through metal, right?
I know, I was just showing you. And he kind of puts his blade back. I've learned that sometimes that if people trust you, you could use that against them.
Oh, really? You learnt that, did you?
And his eyes don't leave Oshi.
We've also learnt where your off switch is.
Don't look at me. I didn't do it.
Who did then?
We were all there in the house that you destroyed. Cumbersome, Bull in his china shop. We were all there. We saw.
Right.
But I've learned.
Well, I'm gonna have to.
But I've learned something about trusting people and about using it against them. And I learned that from you, Big Phatts.
What's that?
That you need to use anything around you to win a battle. You must look around you and find advantage where you can. And sometimes your advantage can be you and your emotions. And sometimes it could be somebody else's emotions.
So looking around this room now, how would you win the fight?
I'm gonna do a perception roll on it, if that's alright. I think I have his character sheet somewhere. Where is his character?
This feels eerily like a divorce somehow.
He's trying to tell you that you're his fucking hero. Like,
I know, but see, the kid's not the problem.
oh, this Big Rix.
Two
I can't
massive
find that
egos.
Rix.
Yeah.
What has your mama been saying about me?
Oh, I can't seem to find Little Rix's character sheet. Oh no. Alright, I'm gonna do a roll instead. I do have a character sheet for him. He's fully rolled up and ready to go. So he's gonna do a perception check. He looks around. He's like, firstly, I'd go underneath the bed because you're too big to get underneath the bed. And from there, I would swipe out and attack you. Oh, I said there's lots of things on that I could use on the floor. So those pebbles that have been thrown against your head, I'll put them under your feet to make sure you fall over. You love me very, very, very much, and therefore you would do pretty much anything you would do possibly to make sure I'm safe. So I'd make sure, see if I would talk to Oshi and see if she could maybe threaten me in some way, I mean that you would come and help. And then when we're both together, we can work together to take you down and drop you to the ground and then take all your stuff and run away. And then he looks at Oshi. Is it like that?
Just like that.
Except I wouldn't tell you anything. Because then it would ruin a surprise. And he smiles and he grins and he's like sharp kobold teeth. So like...
Fats puts down the bow. And then picks up a chair nearby and just snaps that in half and walks out the room.
And as you kind of like walk out, Rix kind of wanders over and sits on the bed next to Oshi. I thought he would be proud of me for that.
Who? Him?
There.
He's not very good at showing stuff, I think.
I didn't tell him you were training us, I promise.
You did or you didn't?
I didn't.
Okay. I believe you just this once.
Just this once.
Just this once.
And he kind of looks at you. Liar? Question mark.
Normally.
Okay. I do want to be as brave as him.
Did you think he was brave in that fight?
I think he was in his mind. He was trying to do the best for everyone. In his own way.
Do you think that's the best thing to do?
I think that you should do things for other people. And he looks at that face of yours, and you're like sort of looking at him. Of myself? And he's still questioning every time he's saying it, like trying to find the right answer.
Why would you do stuff for other people, Little Rix?
Because I love them.
Okay.
It's the right thing to do.
It is.
Like Tunk.
Hmm?
Like Tunk.
Hmm.
He did the right thing because it was the right thing to do.
Not always.
You can't talk about him like that.
He got himself killed.
Yeah. It's not his fault.
Hmm.
Phatts is back at the door.
I'm going on a job, looking for some information on the Black Viper.
Oh, can I
I
come?
don't suppose either of you are doing anything and want to join me.
And he's still like, Lyric has still got his hand in the air.
Yes, you can come.
Great.
Oshi,
Who's it for and how much?
look, it's if we're 100 gold, I'll split the share with you. Everything that I'm earning is going into this house anyway. I was more just seeing if you had a free afternoon or something.
Can Oshi do an insight check? Is Phatts trying to be our mate? Better not be. Oh, it's only an 11. I don't know.
11. What should she get for an 11?
I think that you sense a slight bit of remorse from Phatts for his recent actions. But beyond that, you can't tell as to why the fuck he's changed his mind.
No, I'm busy. You already owe us for the events of the other day anyway, so 100 gold pieces is the least you could do in the kitty.
She sort of stood there and he's like, and Little Rix goes like, did you say the Black Viper?
Yeah, I said the Black Viper.
That's silly. It's only in comic books. You can't go off and look for the Black Viper.
Well, supposedly that she's a real deal.
What?
That's right. And I have been tasked with finding her.
And then
Which
Lyric
means
leans in.
you have
We.
been tasked with finding her.
Okay,
We have been tasked with finding her.
we have been. You and I.
You and I. Little
And
Rix and
Oshi.
Phatts.
And Oshi as well.
I
Because
don't
Oshi's
think
coming.
she's coming. I'm not sure if she's coming.
Oh, okay. I think you and
You and I,
I.
Little Rix. You and I.
Yeah, so you're my sidekick.
I am your sidekick, yeah.
Great. Let's go, Metal Man. And he sort of runs out.
Hold on. Wisdom saving throw. Wisdom saving throw. 17.
17.
You fucking, yeah, metal man away.
So, she's not coming then. Is that what we came to?
No, I think she's slyly shitting herself that she might be the Black Viper, so she doesn't want to. She knows she's like in her mind. She knows she's not. But there's a little bit of her that's like, oh shit, what if there's some rumor going around about all the killings? So she's just going to say, and she's going to read through the papers to see what's mentioned, see if she can get any clues.
You're
All right,
fucked now, Joe's stealing that.
Yeah, you're
All right,
fine.
so you see, you guys run off.
Rex is perhaps
Yeah.
walking slowly
Yeah,
behind.
exactly. But you know how, like, you know, when someone's feet are so big and you have to run to keep up with them? It's that kind of thing. as you kind of run off down the line. So I think, hang on, let me just get the document up because I had to close everything down. I do want to say while I'm looking for this, massive thanks and kudos to everyone for staying with us. I love you guys very, very much for keeping with us throughout all of our problems and issues today. None of which have been our fault. It's just the internet being a dick. But thank you for being with us. I really appreciate it. All right, so. Okay, so you guys kind of run off. I think you know that the mission from the Gauntlet has been about looking for... They're talking to the newspapers about the Black Viper.
Yep.
So literally, Little Rix is like running off, like he's gonna go off and like fight a dragon, and he ends up. You take him to the Waterdeep Zoo. This is a newspaper over in our favourite newspaper street, which was the other one called I can't remember what it's called. Lamp Street, wasn't it? No, was it Lamp Street? No, no. Yes, it was Lamp Street. Lamp Street, the Lamp Street newspapers, and you kind of make your way down to a place that you've already seen before, right next to the 90 Bells, the pub named after Alex Bell, and you see that there is a small building. It's about 2 stories high, and it's got like chalked on the side is the Waterdeep Zoo. It's still quite busy as a newspaper. But I imagine it's a bit like the Wazoo. I think is a bit like the Daily Star.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so it's not an overly well known
Sensationalism.
newspaper. It's like, and as he sort of runs in as you kind of, I think you ran the whole way.
Yeah, I see Rix is like legging it 100 meters ahead, then having to run back to me again, and then 100 meters further. Until I catch up, and he's done 10 laps of this road already.
Yeah, it's like, right, middle man, what's the mission?
Well, here's the mission, Sir Rix a lot.
I'm called Champion of the Red.
Champion of the Red. Your Honor. I don't fucking know.
You can
we're
call
gonna
me
go
Rix.
in.
It's okay. I know we're just playing, but you can call me Rix. It's fine.
Okay, Champion of the Rix Red. We're gonna go into this newspaper place here. We're gonna ask around looking for clues. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do the talking because they'll suspect you because you're such a champion. So I need you to lay low. Keep an eye out. Anything that you find, you take and you bring back, but don't be seen, okay?
Okay. And he puts his hand in his pocket and he pulls out a pair of glasses. He puts the glasses on. Okay.
Hey, whoa, did you see the Champion of the Red around here anywhere?
It's like, take stuff.
Oh, holy shit, monks. Yeah, okay, there you are. Okay, right. We're going in.
Okay. I'll follow your lead.
Bing, 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 bing.
This thing is like, I want that newspaper written there. I want this article written there. And it's like this sort of shout is going on. And someone's going, what newspaper? Like, you haven't told us anything to look for. And he's like, I don't know. And he like grabs a piece of ham and he throws it against a wall with all these words. And it's just literally like, throws it and he goes, shoo, bread bound with a, throws it over. And it's just like,
Hancock.
Sorry?
Hancock.
Hancock. Bread found with Hancock. Go. And it's literally it's like gotcha. And it's like this guy runs off to kind of try and write this thing. There is one, I mean, literally this like a line of them as he just keeps throwing ham against the wall, randomly grabbing bits. Yeah, get me pictures of Spider-Man. This is so good. Thanks, Dan. As he's literally just randomly throwing up these kind of headlines to kind of keep going. And there is one there. It's just like, okay, so I've got this really important piece, and it's just like, wait. He throws it. Give us a random word. Anybody? Random word.
Black Viper.
Black Viper throws up another piece of cam. And it lands onto, randomly lands on, like, rampages. And then he throws another one, and it goes on to, like, Lords of Waterdeep. Now that's a new story. And the guy's, like, looking at his own notes. Great. I'll write that story then. Thanks. And you see this news reporter go back to his desk. Huge piles of files that he's kind of made. As the editor continues to kind of make stuff through, making up of such great headlines as... Dan, give us a headline.
Unsung hero slaughters geese.
It's a winner, and it's like it continues on. As you're sort of stood in this sort of like, I suppose it's like a cattle market. It's just sort of everyone working hard around you, and your eyes get caught by that particular news reporter.
Yeah, Phatts is gonna kind of sidle up to them and stand over their desk until they look up at him.
Yes.
Howdy. Name's Phatts.
Good to meet you. Try to take a seat.
Yeah, thanks. I might need two, though. I'm pretty large.
And then he's like, what he sees is another chair just sort of magically move across and stop. And then you sit down on two chairs, and then suddenly there's a small red kobold sat on your lap. Oh, Jesus.
This is my partner, Rix.
He just like scowls at him.
We're here looking for some information on the Black Viper. I was wondering if you have any for us.
What, you trying to steal my story?
Nope. But you are not in the position to catch them, and I am. You tell me what you know. I'll give you the scoop when I catch her.
So you're gonna pay me afterwards?
I ain't gonna pay you shit to give you a story.
Well, I'm not gonna tell you shit. And then Rix is like,
Right then.
he's like, why does he keep looking at me like that?
Because you are being a difficult customer.
Be a bit difficult customer. I've worked hard for this story, all right? It's my story. You see the shithole that I work in and hear this? Oi! It's like, sorry, Craig. But this is a shithole.
Phatts leans in.
It is a shithole.
Yes.
And if you want to have any sort of worth as a journalist, you'll tell me what you know, and then I'll feed you back the information once I find her. Think about this. The only journalist in town to know the exact location, covering the first story of the Black Viper being caught. That would make you a success in anyone's book. Instead of throwing pieces of fucking ham at the wall and seeing what sticks.
True. Do you want to do a persuasion check on that?
I'm happy with that just working, Joe, if you're happy with it. I'm going to use I think I've only got one bomb, but I'll use it.
Catch out!
Oh, yes! He like
17.
leans in. All right. So, the Black Viper. Many thought that she had died a long time ago. And yet, I think they have returned. There's been a small crime wave amongst thieves breaking into nobles' houses, taking things and stealing stuff. But no one's reporting about it because none of the lords actually want to show that they're vulnerable in any way. Do you know what I mean?
I see.
They kind of They think of this as being something which is below them to be thieved upon. Now, I actually think the Black Viper is actually the evil secret twin of Amelia Casalanta. No, listen to me, listen. And he sort of sees you kind of like lean back a bit. Because I think they wear a mask to hide away a massive scar that comes across their face. I think that they're like horribly disfigured.
And Phatts is writing down massive scar. Go on.
Because only another rich, noble family would have the resources to cover up such something and to become that vigilante. I also think that she rides around on a unicorn, ensuring that she has the invisibility required to break into any place around her. No, listen. And he sort of like brings out a big pack. It's like, I've got reports of people saying that they've seen shimmers in the night.
Shimmers, huh?
Yes, like 3 or 4 streets away from such places of target. But I'm telling you, they exist.
Where was the last place that she was said to have robbed?
Obviously up in the Sea Ward. She's always attacking the Sea Ward. And all I know of it, they had broken in and tried to find, and they'd taken some sort of small jewel. And a priceless family heirloom. But of course, none of the families are actually talking about it. So I got this from the second cousin of one of the mates there.
And what was the name of the family that the jewel was stolen from?
Hold, please. And he sort of like rifles through his notes. And he comes up with oh, that's quite a good one. Yeah. Margister.
Margister.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Margister Luskin family.
Right, okay. Well, what's your name there, partner?
My name is so it's always the way, isn't it? My name is Glaxley Rudderbuster.
Glaxley? I got far too many G's in there, but okay. Glaxley. Glaxley Rudder.
Rudderbus with 2 D's.
Rudderbus. Right, okay. Well, Glaxley, thank you for your time. Unless there's anything else that may be pertinent, I'm gonna get on going.
Of course. And is your partner all right? As he looks over at him.
What are you saying about my partner?
Nothing at all, nothing.
He's the most dangerous kid in the whole of Waterdeep, you know that, right?
What's his name? He looks over and goes, Rix.
Champion of the Red.
He writes down Rix, Champion of the Red, on a piece of paper and then sticks it to the hand wall.
And you would do well to fear him, because if he comes back here and he's angry, then Glaxley Rudderbus is going to be getting an obituary.
You want to do an intimidation roll on that?
Oh, I fucking do, yeah. Come on.
15. Yes. And he looks at you and he sort of see that bead of sweat kind of fall down his face. Of course. And he takes the name off the wall. But he puts it underlined in his notepad. I will remember the name. Sexual, you do remember the name. And then as you stand up, you just grab him by the back of the neck and you sort of just like carry him out.
Come on, boss. We
That
gotta
way.
go find the Margisters.
And you kind of like make your way outside of the back onto the street of Lamp Street, and you just see that craziness that's kind of kicking off around you as all the news is going off. Different people are asking different questions, and of course you cross the way, you see a small like one-story house, like 2 up 2 down. It has WD News across the top of it.
Well, champion of the red, I think that went very well. What do you think?
I think that went very well as well, actually. Yeah.
Same again?
Why?
WD News.
Who are they?
Another source. You think we're trusting old fucking Ham Rudderbus over there?
Gotcha. And as you kind of start walking towards WD, you see that there's actually a very small picket line outside WD. There's huge pickets that says Warforged are people too. And they're picketing against WD, stopping anyone who's going towards them, towards the new newspaper of WD News, the voice of the people. As you kind of come through to it, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's him! Big Phatts, Big Phatts!" And these are like normal people; they're not news reporters. So Big Phatts, they seem to know you.
Yeah, just climb on my shoulders here, little Rix. And he puts him up top. Yes, what can I help you with?
You're Big Phatts, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, we've heard the horrible things this newspaper's been saying about you and are saying about Warforged and your kind, and we completely disagree with it, which is why we're stopping everybody from entering this hell, this cesspit of ignorance. And they sort of spits it across at the WD News.
Well, while I appreciate y'all trying to put a good name out for the likes of me, I'm afraid that clamping down on any sort of free speech is not going to do you any favors. Let people make up their own minds.
Well, you're entitled to that opinion. So they turn around and, completely ignoring your advice, continue to stop people from entering WD News. But of course they let you pass because you are a certain exception. And as you kind of walk into this place, it kind of goes a little bit quiet as you see these kind of very separated desks. There are huge graphs everywhere that is following and tracking kind of like the news stories that are taking the most interest in the population. And they are very much controlling what the story they're pushing depending on those particular graphs. As you see that there is an office for what was his name? Jeremy Barkskin. And it's sort of like, you can see that's the biggest door in the whole room. And it is very much about each desk is like slightly higher than each other. So as like someone tries to get a chair that's a bit higher than the other person, and then like a desk is slightly bigger somewhere else. I think you've also noticed that coffee cups are also seem to be in competition, where coffee cups are sort of like get bigger. Pens are also another thing, like the number of pens that you have. It seems that everything is about some sort of power struggle.
Who's got the second biggest coffee cup?
The second biggest coffee cup, you see there is a tiefling. And they are sort of sat, they've got this kind of long beard. And they're sat like, they look as if they're typing in midair. As you walk over to it, you see the name at the bottom, which is ferocious in like speech marks. Flamida.
Ferocious Flamida. Don't ring any bells.
Well, obviously you don't read.
Read enough to know what you've been saying about the likes of me.
Look, it's not my personal opinion, all right?
What's your name?
You literally just said, I mean...
I'm gonna sit down.
And he pulls over a chair.
And a second chair kind of comes in.
I'm sure you know who I am.
Yes, you're Big Phatts, the Warforged, who destroyed an innocent family's home, scaring the wits out of innocent children, and possibly hurting a woman, maybe throwing her to the ground. I also heard reports that you also hurt a child, throwing them across the room. Am I being accurate? Just want to make sure I'm being accurate.
One side of the story, I suppose. And one side of the story is good till the other side's told.
Not really. I think it's more... The more you repeat the story, it becomes truth. It doesn't matter if your child is different to mine, as long as I keep saying mine.
Sure, but you've got the second biggest cup, so obviously you're not telling two good stories.
Quite. Yes, the biggest cup will always be Jeremy's cup.
The Black Viper. What do
Ah.
you know?
Black Viper. See, it's interesting with the Black Viper because we're not getting that much traction with the Black Viper stories.
Sure. How much
Yeah.
you talking about? How much do you know?
Why should I talk to you about it?
Well, sure I could do you a favor if you do me one.
You're doing me plenty of favors. You crack on being an angry piece of metal, it's fine.
But have you got a personal interview with me? No one else has. Second biggest cup.
Alright. Black Viper. As far as I'm aware, they are some sort of vigilante. Now, vigilante stories are not really something that we like to run. What we like to run is stories of good, good city watch doing their job. You know, don't want any vigilantes. It gives the poor too many ideas above their station. However, as far as we know, it's some sort of cat burglar or thief that is jumping into nobles' houses. The two journalist voices have now become confused in my brain, and I can't figure out which is which anymore. It can't confuse. Let's go with this one from now on. Yes, okay. Some sort of cat burglar or thief that's breaking into houses.
Right. Whose houses?
Well, just everyday folk.
Everyday folk. City Watch isn't helping.
It's more that those houses are not interested in talking to the City Watch. Noble
Why would that
families
be?
Noble families and such.
Oh, I thought you said everyday folk.
Well, yes, they're everyday folk. There's the poor people and there's everyday folk.
Of course. So the noble everyday folk aren't saying nothing to the City Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Why would that be?
I suppose it's embarrassment.
Embarrassment. Their
reason that
security
those-
isn't tight enough.
Exactly. If you found out your house could be burgled into and you were a noble with priceless heirlooms that go back to the beginnings of the creations of this fair city, would you like it known that you have been broken into and that your securities are not infallible?
No, I would not.
Exactly.
Any recent burglaries? Anyone of note?
No, I'm aware of. Okay, do a roll for Little Rix.
Can I give you DM advantage?
Yes, you can.
Oh, he's gonna need it.
Oh. Yeah, I think Little Rix tries to sneak off. I was seen by everybody. As he tries to go over to and open Jeremy's door. And he just, and this like intern steps out. Excuse me, you can't go in there. And Little Rix is like, why not? It's like, you haven't got an appointment, and that's Mr. Baskin's office. Now, would you like a lolly? And they sort of like lean down. It's like, no, I don't want a lolly. I'm looking for a bigger cup. So, oh, you want? Oh, you're looking for a bigger cup, are you? It's like, yes. Well, I'll have a strawberry lolly if you've got one. And he sort of like, she kind of like leads them back. This intern leads them back to you and sits back down. Sorry, Big Fatso's looking for a bigger cup.
A lot of people around here are. You were saying about noble families. You don't know who was the last person to be burgled? I'm fairly
It's
sure
not-
that's a lie.
That's not a story that I'm following.
You must know something. Anything I can go on as a lead.
One of these Luskan families, I think.
Luskin.
Yes.
Very well.
Oh, that reminds me, she kind of puts her hand into, pulls out like a coupon. It's for the, who puts it on the table, you know, for the little one. And sort of leans it as gesturing towards Rix.
What's on the coupon?
It's like a free ticket to the kind of like the carnival attractions. So you kind of look at it, and there seems to be lots of kind of like a drawings of mechanics and stuff like this. It's just like, oh, as you were talking about Luskan, just the Luskan sort of carnival that sort of has floated into town. Their ships are on their ways in, sitting in the docks as we speak. They usually come through around this sort of summertime, but this is a particularly special one, I think. So we've been giving out these kind of free coupons for the attractions, and I'm sure that you would really like them.
What do you think, Little Rix?
Puts it down. You got two.
Have you?
She puts another one down on the table.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and... Oh, that thing that you said about the more you say something, the more it's true. I'm ready to give my interview now. Go fuck yourself. Have a nice day.
And he gets up and walks out.
And then sort of like you just watch her, we watch her watch you leave. And she just puts down, she gets a pen and paper out, slams it on the side. Destroy that Warforge. Since she double underlined.
Come at me, come at me.
So you kind of walk out and leave this sort of this busy street. As you kind of like we see as you move out of the building into that protest, we swing around as they suddenly see her stand up. She says, "I want a meeting," and she sort of starts marching towards Jeremy's door. As she opens that door, what we see is this kind of like slightly tall, I'd say gammon age, he's about 50 to 60, bright red faced. He's got a magazine that's looking at like fast carts, and his feet are up on the table, and he just and then she sort of looks at him. He just goes, "What? What is it you want?" As we fade to black. Okie dokie. There we go.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everybody, for sticking with us. I hope that you've enjoyed. Yeah, 5 horsepower. God, I'm gonna really enjoy playing Jeremy Barkskin. So yeah, I think that was lovely. Thank you for going along with some silliness at the end there, Mr. Rob Thompson. I really enjoyed that.
You're so welcome.
I hope everybody at home enjoyed themselves. More Luskans.
More Luskins. Luskins coming out of our
tickets
ears.
to a Luskin carnival as well.
Luskans. Thank you very much, Alec. I am. Thank you very much for that. And also say thank you to Commander. I just how to say this. Cefello? Yeah, Commander Cefello. Thank you very much for the follow as well. That was a little earlier on. We were in the middle of a scene, but I want to say thank you for that. Yeah, so more Luskans are everywhere. Luskans everywhere, and not a drop to drink. But we also know about this carnival.
2 free tickets.
Can I check something from that conversation?
Yeah.
So the Luskans had a burglary.
A Luskan family, not all Luskans.
Okay, a Luskan family had a burglary.
The problem is that this particular newspaper refers to people by race because they're cunts. So
That's
yeah.
the second one.
Second C word.
Who's counting?
You've opened the floodgates now. One.
Right, I'm gonna have to actually. I might have to beep them out when I put this up.
We're never gonna get sponsorship.
We're doing so well.
I'm definitely gonna have to beep them out before I put them onto YouTube. I don't think they'll let me use that.
Amazing.
The problem is I'm just making these awful institutions that I really don't like. Anyway, yes, sorry, carry on.
So a Luskan family has recently had a burglary where a priceless family heirloom has been stolen.
The Margisters.
A small gem.
Jewel. Correct.
Yeah, a small jewel, yeah.
Small jewel. Like what sort of size? I don't know, like an eye-shaped size?
I don't know. Specifics weren't talked about here. Maybe when you talk to them, maybe we can find out a little bit more about it.
Well, we just made a
Champion
friend
of the
of
Red
them,
is on
so
the
I'm
case.
sure we're champion of the red. So good, just mean mugging everyone.
So, but yeah, Luskans. So it seems as if we have found out today that we still haven't found the right Nimblewight.
No.
But we know that they have come from the Luskans.
Mm-hmm.
And we now know that there is a Luskan carnival ships in the dock.
Luskan carnival ships.
That usually come to do the summer carnival.
But this year's special.
But this year is special. Because there's lots of mechanical stuff on the tickets. So that's kind of what you've heard and what you've been told so far. We also know that Little Rix is no longer secretly being trained and is a superhero now. And that's that. And he is going to be a superhero forevermore because he's Little Rix. I love him.
Level 10.
Level 10, yeah. Little Rix is level 20 and none of you know it.
Everyone levels up for this week except for Pups, Oshi, Baggi, and Phatts.
But yeah, I hope there was, and I wonder if there's anything else that that you kind of noticed through that at all.
Well, the evil twin of Amelia Castellanta is rumoured to be the Black Banker.
Rumoured. But they're also rumoured to ride on a unicorn. So
yeah, shimmers in the night. The Sea Ward is a place where apparently a lot of these burglaries are happening. A massive scar supposedly across their face, but there's a lot of bullshit to wade through here. They
They're
were
all
presumed
demons
dead
in the
and have
house.
returned.
yeah, possible. It also sounds as if it could either be, it is the thing about vigilantes, isn't it? It could either be a great ally or it could be a great foe. You just don't know. But you've got information to go back to the commander. So that's a good bonus thing to go from.
Yep. 100 GP Dazes.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Alec, again for the resub on that one. So to answer Fizzlekin's question, I'm using the sidekick rules. I think is it from Tasha's? Oh my god, is it from Tasha's or not?
I think it was because you introduced it in another game.
Yeah. So using the sidekick rules for them, I will show you the full character sheet. Actually, maybe I'll do a screenshot of it so you guys can see it and see what it looks like. But essentially, they level up with the party, so they have their own level sort of progression, and you choose between like a magic user, a fighter, or a specialist, I think it is, or expert. And I think he's gone down the fighter route. So we'll find out from. I can show you what that character looks like and make sure you can see how the progression goes. Okay. Great. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did.
Great time.
Good.
So
Very
good.
good.
So
Very
good.
And I think, as usual, keep your eyes on our socials. And if you have some time, pop up to just keep an eye on the socials because we've got stuff going on. Dan, is there anything to add here, or any of you guys got anything if you'd like to add to the end of this episode before we finish up?
From me, just that next episode, just a reminder, is Tuesday. This is our first of 3 sessions in 7 days. So have a good weekend. We're skipping the Monday, and then we are back on Tuesday.
Lovely. Well,
7
I love you
o'clock.
guys. 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. All right, guys. I love you very, very much, and we shall see you on Tuesday. All right then. Bye.
Bye.